with Done by Dorothy, and we are here today working on our Mirabella Nature Journal, and we have our 3 signatures, and yes, we got them fixed from yesterday, so my big mistake turned to a happy accident, and it's all figured out and settled, so we have our 3 signatures ready. Again, in the description box below, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. This kit is available in my Etsy shop, the Mirabella Nature journal pages. There's 24 pages, 12 PDFs with 2 of the images per page. So it is in my Etsy shop. It is available there. It is in the description box below. So there, I will be giving some freebie printables out to go along with this as well. Today we had our 6 pages in each signature, and we've sewed and glued down our main pages if you've been following along. So we have those every 3 pages. I'm not going to count for you guys today, but every 3rd page has a different, and these are gorgeous images. There isn't a lot of journaling space on here, although there is a lot of white areas, but we are adding a lot of other things in, so you know, some flip outs and things like that, so there will be plenty of room for writing in here. So we have 3 of those, so I'm gonna keep one out for right now, and we'll use it in a second. So I'm starting to pull my papers out that I'm going to use, and I want to use the same type of papers in each signature. So I know I want 3 envelopes, and I'm going to put those into the center of the signatures, so once we bind them, we can cover our strings up inside. I'm not going to put any charms or anything hanging from the inside because I want to do a really nice tassel, a dangle from the outside. Plus I don't want to add any more bulk inside than I have to. So I have 3. These are just the 3 of the regular, you know, regular size. These happen to be security, and I don't really care about that. If you don't like that, we can cover that with tea stained paper. That doesn't really bother me. So, you know, we'll just set this in the middle, do our binding, and then we'll glue this closed. So do not glue your envelopes closed if they are open. If for some reason you've dyed them and they stayed closed, you try to ease them open. So we will keep those for the middle of our journal. So I've got 3 of those. We have 3 journals, so I'm going to set those to the side. Now, just to tell you a little bit, the Digital and Mirabella Nature Kit is my kit that I've designed. And Mira, in the Romance language, and also in Latin, when you get down to the base root meaning of the word, it means wonderful. And, you know, I was looking for words to go with nature and the beauty, you know, just the beauty of nature and how wonderful nature is. So when I found Mira and the meaning being wonderful, that was just perfect for me. So when we are going to use some words throughout, so you will see like Mira and wonderful and Bella. And Bella, in whether it's Italian, Greek, Portuguese, or Latin, Bella all means beautiful. So it literally translates to wonderful, beautiful nature. And to me, that's what nature is. I love nature. So when I started pulling, and I just sort of went through books I found, these are common books that you can find. Honestly, everything I have, I've found at Goodwills or at thrift stores. None of this is new. I've not bought any of this online. These have all been, you know, from there. So you can search different places and find lots of things. So with Mira and Bella relating back into French, being the basis of those before converting into the Latin. I had a French review for reading improvement book that I found, and so it's got a lot of French words in it. So I actually wanted to see if I could find like nature and Mira and Bella in here. And that, you know, with this being a small book, I'm not sure it will have everything in here. I'm looking. Nope, it does not. So we are just going to pull 3 pages. So since it's not really going to matter which one that we're going to use, I want to find something that has a lot of the French showing on it. And, you know, just sort of find something that has to do with nature or animals and that type of thing. Okay, here's the thing about trees. So we can use that. And I'm just going to sort of push down. And I just sort of push to the spine because I don't really want to rip it. I want to sort of keep the edging on it. And you can see I found this at my thrift store for 69 cents. So and I'm, you know, so this actually, you know, has a lot of French writing in it. It's not, I'm trying very hard because I don't really want to bust the whole entire book into pieces, but I may. Okay. Let's see, where did it say about the trees? Was that on the back of here? Yes. Okay, so let me see if I've got it eased up enough. And because of the size, I don't want to... Okay, see, that popped right out. And I'll be able to, because this is divided into 2 columns, I'll actually fold it in the middle and it'll sort of be... It will trim it down and it'll fit. Okay, so let's find something else. And again, I'm just literally just flipping through till I find something that talks about, you know, something that you would see outside. Something that would have to do with nature, and I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in here that has to do with nature. Let's see. Oh, here's about taking a walk. Walking, we walk in nature, so let's use this one. And this one, these are actually sort of in little signatures, so I'm going to try to, let me see. Let me find, I'm going to see if I can get in here with my scissors. I may have to pull my little knife out. Nope, I may be able to get it. And that's the thing, if you can break it down to where you can cut those little strings, then it'll release a lot. Okay, let's see. Where do we not get through here? Oh, right in the middle it doesn't want to give. So I just sort of take it and roll it. And when I roll it, then I can see the strings a little better and get in there to cut those. Okay, and that should release. Yes. Okay. And then as I pull it, you can actually see the strings start pulling loose, just in case you've never done that. Sometimes I'll pull just a page out. But I actually want this because I want to have a page that, you know, we can have going through on both sides, and I want a little wider page than just the one. So let's see. And I could have went through this, but I really wanted to show you. I mean, I actually do. This is what I do when I'm going through it. So really, And some people are like, why in the world? But I actually do set and sort through it and try to, because everything I want to put in there, I want it to have meaning. I want it to be in there for a purpose. So that's just me. I don't like to just throw stuff in there. Let's see. And if you're coughing or anything in the background, I apologize for that. We got sick people. Well, not sick, just a cold going around. Let's see if I can find something back here in the... Oh, you know, I sort of like the numbers. Let's see. I sort of like those, but I'm not sure. I don't want to keep those for my calendars because I want to do a, you know, to add in for. Okay, guys, I'm just going to find the first one I come to and pull it. The soil. There we go. See, I knew I would find something that fit. So, and let's see where this one's at. Oh yeah, this just has this one little page in front of it. I think we can pull this out and well, I may have to cut it through a little bit. I promise you the next ones won't be as hard. This one was hard because I sort of had to go through and like convert, you know, the French over as I was going, so it wasn't as easy. Let's see, and where did it say soil? Was on this page back here, wasn't it? Yes. So even though it's in there, it has a little bit to do. So I'm going to set this to the side. And again, this was called The French Review for Reading Improvement by Francis W. Nachtmann, Nachtmann, from the University of Illinois. So, and then I'll just throw that back on my, see how old this is? Like the actual book itself is falling apart. And this is, I will find a date for you. I know there was a date in here because I double checked to see. This was from 1966. So, not exactly early vintage, but early enough. And then I found this. It was 10 cents. It was the Double Q composition book. And so I want to use some pages out of that just because it's already sort of aged. So I'm just going to pull 3 pages out of here. I'm not even going to pull whole pages because I'll just find different ways to fold the one page. And I want it to sort of have that rough look, so on the edge, that roughness. So I got 3 pages out of there. And again, I don't know how old this was. Again, this came from my thrift store. And it's just a composition book. It was 10 cents, so it actually has, 29 cents is what I actually paid for it. And it's got the thing of useful paper on the back of it. Or useful information on the back of it. And it doesn't have a date on it. Then I found this. This is a new gold treasure of natural history. This doesn't have a price on it. I paid 99 cents for it though, because I love this book. And I mean, it is just full of wonderful. And it's from 1968. And there is just tons of, I mean, every page. So I mean, I'll try not to flip so fast, but you know, from to bears to birds. I mean, just a ton of just anything. I mean, there's reptile pages and fish and spiders and butterflies and I mean tree parts, different flowers, animals, birds, just tons of different things. So I'm actually going to try to find, I sort of like that with the water. And this page, I'm just going to try to, well, you know what? Let me grab my toolkit and grab my, this is a Gordon toolkit, and it's got tons of little knives of all sorts. My husband actually picked this up for me, and from Harbor Freight Tools. I know you can order from them online too. I think it was like 15 bucks, and it comes with all these blades and all the different knives and tweezers and everything in there, so there's a little bit of everything in there. The tweezers never want to stand there for whatever reason though. But let me see. I wanted the water, and I think my page flipped on me. Oh, there it is. So I am going to turn this over this way, and I can take my knife and just glide it along, and it'll pop right out. Oh, it actually brought 2 pages out, so use this I'll put back in there. I don't want to use that page. I want to do different items. So I did a water element. Ooh, that might be really cute. Yep. I actually think I'm going to cut this in half and fold it sort of where the seam is here, and that'll actually do both pages out of that. So that covers our 3 for that. And again, that's The New Golden Treasury of Natural History by Bertha Morris Park. It's actually a golden book. So great book to have. Let me put that there in case I need it again. And then I have a thesaurus. And so I wanted to look up a couple words, and I wanted the word wonderful. Let's see. Okay, and we'll find wonderful. Let's see, M-N-O. Wonderful. And this page is a little thinner, so I'll put even less pressure on it, and it'll still probably cut 2 or 3 pages. Okay, so we've got wonderful, and I wanted beautiful and nature, so okay, natural, so nature is going to be here. Nope. Yep, there it is. And then beautiful. And it will cut, you know, a couple of the pages next to it, but they're just stuck in there sort of where I want them to be. And that was just a Webster's Thesaurus. Again, I got that 29 cents in my thrift store. I mean, I know, you know, this is actually like a Valley thrift, Salvation Army thrift store. And then I got Purnell's Concise Encyclopedia of Nature in color. And I love this book too. Some of it's in color, some of it's black and white. I'm not sure why they put color, but let's find. There's another pretty. I'm going to try to find something that's going to be, I want something more colorful. I actually think I want this, and we can use this for 2 of them. You'll see this page is actually thick enough that when I cut it, I didn't cut all the way through it. That's crazy, huh? And I don't mind that this is black and white because I'm going to use it for something else, so we can use that for 2. Ooh, and let's use that one because it's pretty. Okay. So, let's pull out our first one and get it done. Let me put this knife up because that's one thing with this kit. These knives are extremely sharp, and I do not want to end up with a cut open hand, not able to craft. Okay, so let's open up in the middle first. Now we have the middle, I know I'm going to put my envelope in there. So that's there. Okay. So that's covered. So we have this here. Let's see, what do we want to put in there? You know what, let's use this one. And trying to make sure of where it was located. Okay, it was over here, but that's okay. And see how this is as wide as the page. So you know what? We won't worry about the top and the bottom. We'll flip this up a little bit because that'll sort of create pockets. And you can never have enough pockets. So I'm actually, well, let's go ahead and ink this up. And I'll ink my envelope up before I get ready to do it. Let me change my sponge out on my, it's starting to get all flaky again, and that's when it's got to go because it just doesn't work for me the way I like it to. Okay, let me ink it up. And I'm using the back side, just the plain vintage photo. I'm gonna get some ink on there. And I'm just gonna, you know, go around the folds and ink it up. And I'm not gonna worry, like if I get in the corner, I'll just sort of round it off, flip around and around it, just sort of age that page up some because it is a stark white page. And we will decorate the page, so I'm just doing this as the step in between. And I will probably do one signature for this video, and then the other ones I'll do off camera. Or I'll do as, you know, a part 2 or part 3 to it. You know, maybe I'll do 3 different parts. I mean, I want to do this step by step so you can see every single step, and I'm not doing the same thing with every signature. So, I mean, some of the things are similar, but like we cut some things differently and that, so I don't have to worry about. I'll ink right along the edge there. And I'm not being like super careful with this. I'm just sort of highlighting it. And if it gets down on the page some, I don't worry about it. It just sort of ages the page. And you can use any size page with this. Like I said, I just started out, this is pretty much just 8.5 by 11. It's almost the same exact size as our page. Which is why I was folding it in half, because I don't want it sticking out the sides. I really don't want a page that's as wide. I want it, you know, there to be a little bit of difference. Or as tall, you know, I don't want it all the way to the top. Okay, so I have my page in here. And I think on this edge here, I don't want this quite as long. So I'm going to fold my page. I'm not going to completely fold it, I'm just going to sort of fold it, but not, you know, fold it to where it makes a dent. And I'm going to hold it like this. And then I'm going to turn it over this way. And I'm just going to, see, I'm going to cut about right here. I'm just going to cut sort of a curve. And because I have it folded, it's going to meet in the middle. So I'm just sort of cut like that. So I'm just doing a, sort of like an S, a really S. And I didn't, so I'm going to pull this out, ink along this edge really fast where I cut off. And, you know, you can cut it off before you fold it. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with it, so, because I'm, you know, I'm recording this as I'm deciding. So you guys are seeing step by step. So I'm not, you know, pulling it out and going, okay, I'm using this and this and this. You're actually sort of seeing my process of how I do it. And I know it may be a little bit too much for some people, especially if you're experienced and, you know, you've done junk journals before. Okay, so we have that all inked up. I'm going ahead while I have this here, and I'm going to go ahead and glue my edge and have that done. That way that's one thing that's done and that's out of the way and I don't have to deal with it later. I made sure I don't put that on my paper because I don't want it to accidentally get on my paper and glue it to my paper or something, and art glitter glue. So that turned that full page into this really cute little flip fold, and then we can decorate the outside. So we have our envelope. We have our two little pockets, and if we don't want our pockets because our envelope's there, we can actually move it over some. So, you know, why don't we do that? Well, that's what we'll do. I'm just going to, since this is already right here, I'm going to just cut along this line because it's already, and that way I have a solid, you know, it's a solid picture all the way around. I'm just going to cut that off where it's at. Use the natural where they already did. Again, I'm going to ink up around the edges. It won't do a whole lot here, except for the places where, like, well, like down here where this flower is at, you'll really notice where it, you know, browns it up there. It just sort of adds a little age to it, and then we'll do the other side too. Okay. Turn this over. I'm going to ink the edge here. Okay, and then I sort of want to cover this up so I have a little bit of journaling space on there. Well, no, I've got that blank journaling space there. I think we'll be okay. We may do something with this, and this again is where I cut it, so it may be a little off, so I'm going to actually push it a little bit past. Then I'll sort of trim this side up where it cut uneven. You know what? I'm gonna Yeah, I'll just... Well, here, let me use my smaller ruler. It's a little bit better. I have my tear ruler, but it's okay. And this doesn't have to be the same. So I'm just going to actually tear this. You know, that edge is straight. Let's go with this side where it's a little crooked. And I'll just go over to where the wording is. Just to sort of straighten that up so it's not as crooked. And I'll come in and ink it up. It's not going to matter that it's two different sizes because you're not going to see because it's on a different page. So we have our envelope. Let's pull this out. Let's put this here. Make sure we put it the right direction. That is one thing you always have to double check because you don't want to get in there. And I double check all of my images before I bind it. Okay, so that's there. Okay, we have this. So let's take this, and I'm going to tear this too because I want to cut this off here sort of where the dandelion's at. Sort of right in between there. Okay, and I really like this dandelion. This is a little crooked over here, so I'm going to straighten this up. And again, I could use my tear ruler and tear it where it would be a lot more. And this may end up that way because it's right on the edge, and sometimes when you do the edges, it just doesn't really want to come off the way it does, so I'll just add it sort of tornado. So and again, there's an ink around the outside edges. And I'm sorry if this is monotonous to some of you guys. Okay, let me go ahead and ink this side and get it done. I don't really sort of go over where the black's at because it doesn't catch the aging sometimes because it's so dark. Okay, so we have that. I like this image. This one. Okay. I'm just gonna go with it. And I'm gonna fold sort of in the center. And I'll show you in a second. Just sort of fold it there. And I always ink up where I fold. Okay, so I've inked this up. So this will be on this side. Now I know that this is going to be too long. And see, I can put something on the front of that. And see, that's still going to be inside my page, so I don't have to worry about folding that over. So that works in there. Okay. So, you know, I think I actually used 2 pages from the same one, didn't I? Yes, I did. So let me pull this to the side and we'll have that ready for the next one. Oh, okay. Here is the one that has beautiful on it, so we want to make sure that we preserve that. And again, just gonna sort of fold it in half to figure out where I'm at. And this has beautiful, beauty, beauteous, beauty. So let's go up here right above Butte. And I'll put this in my scrap for later. And then I'm going to go right below here where Beauty ends and tear it off. I just want to make sure that's sort of. Can you guys see that? Okay, yeah, you guys can see that. My camera sort of shifted on me here, so I have Beauty and all of that there, and then we'll add around that, so that adds that to that. Okay, so we'll get that, that's to the side, and then it has the pink in it, so let's use this one. And I didn't ink around there. I will go back and ink around all the sides of it in a second. And then I'm just gonna that for there. And this is almost already folds like a book where it was in the middle, so just gonna fold it here, take my scissors and sort of straighten up the end over here where it's crooked, where the knife cut it. And I can follow that other strip through there and do that. And I'm gonna ink it up. So, I mean, you can cut these and do all kinds of different things with them, which makes it sort of nice. So I'm just going to ink around the edges, ink around the inside. And even that has, like some oak, acorns, that type of thing on it. So it still has nature stuff on the inside. And some of these I will decorate, embellish, and do things on. And then other ones, like this one, I probably won't bother because it's already got, nature stuff on it. And there is white spaces in here that you can, maybe write a definition of the word of a word, your word for the day, or that type of thing. And that's a catalpa tree and a dogwood tree. Love that dogwood tree. It's gorgeous. It's a pink dogwood. I'm gonna put back over here and ink this up. And then like this, because I don't necessarily want all of these words on here. I want beautiful and all of those, so I will color in gesso around those to draw attention, or whatever I decide to do with it, so it's focused on those words. Maybe gesso, and then for beautiful, paint the word Bella, on one side, and then the word beautiful on the other, that type of thing. So we'll deal with that, and we'll do those when we go through and we're embellishing and adding. And I'm just sort of roughly inking around because I know I'm going to decorate these, but I do want, that outside edge to show. And I'm not overly delicate with it. I mean, because I may just put something over the middle to sort of cover it up. So I still want to ink that up in case I need it. And I'm going to find my words beautiful, because they were on the inside. Because, I mean, that would be really awesome, just so over that. Plus, that's going to add some strength to the dictionary page, and then handwrite Bella, then come over here and focus on the beautiful. It'll be cute, I promise. Okay, and we have that. So, let's see, what do we have left? Okay, 1, 2. And then, we can bury this. Okay, I just used that. That goes with that one. So I have my piece of paper left. You know, so you know what? I want to flip this up. We'll have a pocket that we can tuck in. Now this has some old age to it, so I'm just going to very lightly just sort of darken up the edges to sort of, you know, dirty up the edge a little bit. I'm not really inking, I'm literally just highlighting the edges to darken the edges to sort of show, you know, that outer edge. Because I really like the natural age that this has on it. And again, I'm just going to sort of go down the middle so it sort of inks it without really getting a whole lot of ink on it. And I'll show you in a minute when I get this side what I mean. Because sometimes when we ink, if something's naturally old, we can sort of take that oldness away from it. It just looks like we've, you know, took a new piece of something and inked it when, you know, it was actually a dark page, you know, an older page to start with. Okay. So, like this page, you can see, I just barely, I didn't really ink it, just sort of barely hit it up, and then I will fold this way. And I'm just really lightly just going across that. Not really, I'm not hitting sideways, I'm just flat on it, just the edge. So, just gives it sort of that old creasy look. So, you know what, let's put the pockets on the outside there instead of the inside. Okay, so we have finished that signature. I'm going to fold my envelope sort of closed in there. I'm going to go ahead and throw my clip on there. I'm trying to check my time to sort of see what time it is. Yeah. So we're going to stop here. I will go ahead. I will do a second part where I just put the signatures together and add it. So if you want to see maybe what I do with the other stuff, then you can. But if not, then you can, you know, you're welcome to go on to the next part. So there's that. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you back in part 2 when we finish our other 2 signatures. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.